Hey guys, it's MC Monster UK, and in today's video I'll be going through everything that we know about the rooms and as well as some tips and tricks for beating the rooms. Now, most of this information is from the official's door wiki, and all of these tips and tricks are from myself and other players who have managed to make it pretty far into the room. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So to start off is, how do we get to the rooms? Now, the rooms is an incredibly secret area, which is probably very hard to notice if you're just playing through the game. So to get to the rooms, you need to beat the game, get past door 50, and just get to Jeff's shop. What you're going to need to do is you are going to need to purchase the skeleton key. Another thing you're going to need to do is, before your round starts, is you will need to purchase the lockpicks, because obviously you have no idea if you're going to get any lockpicks on your run. So make sure that you have at least 2 lockpicks on your person. After you've purchased the skeleton key, you are then going to go ahead and progress forward onto door 61. Once you reach door 61, you need to go ahead and go down the stairs and open up the gate. Once the gate is open, you will head back into door 60, and there will be a closet with a hole in the wall behind it. Head through the hole in the wall and it should lead you to a room with a gate. If you have unlocked the gate before going through this hole, it should have opened and you'll be able to access the secret door. You will need to use the 2 lockpicks and the skeleton key in order to open this door. Now, the rooms is something quite unique. First of all, it is a callback to the original game that Doors is based off of, the rooms. Now, some interesting things about the rooms is, the further you progress on, the darker it gets, which means the minute you get into the rooms, you need to make sure that you have 10 coins spare so that you can buy the shake light. This is a little green light which you can shake by clicking or tapping on your screen in order to charge it back up again. This runs out of power very quickly, so I would recommend also having a normal flashlight on you, just so that you have that and so you don't have to use your normal shake light. Now, another thing about the rooms is it goes on for an incredibly long time. I'm pretty sure it takes like 1 to 2 hours, maybe even longer, to beat the rooms. There is 1,000 doors, and oh hello, someone here. There is 1,000 rooms that you will need to get through. Once you have beaten these rooms, you will be able to get a badge. The badge will be showing up on the screen right here. Another thing is, if you do not wish to make it to door A1000, is there are, after door 200, there will be little exits that you can go through. If you head through one of these exits, you will get this badge showing on the screen right now. Once you have exited, you will spawn back into the infirmary, where you will have a countdown if you're playing with multiple players. And once that countdown is complete, you will receive the badge back on track. Which obviously, like I have here, you can have it displayed on your username, except I've got rebound, not back on track, but I might change it, who knows. In room A1000, instead of like some of the normal rooms that you see, you are instead transported to the bridge that you can see outside of the lobby over there by those doors. After you have gone through A1000, you will receive a special device. This will allow you to detect pretty much any items laying around the map. It will also, getting this scanner will also give you a special hidden achievement. I'm pretty sure that this is a 1 round only thing, so once you get the scanner, if you want to use it in other rounds, you'll have to go through the rooms again, which I don't know if you want to do that, just because of, how long it takes to get there and how tedious it is. But yeah, so that is the rooms. Next, we are going to talk about some of the entities in the rooms. Now, a lot of these entities are somewhat similar to the normal entities that you can get indoors, but they are a little bit harder, because from what I found, some of them are harder to hit. However, there are a lot less of them There is only 3 unique entities within the rooms, as well as some others which you can just find in the normal Doors game. Something about the entities in the rooms is that you cannot use the crucifix on any of them, nor can you use Guiding Light's candle, which is somewhat annoying, but it makes sense. Any other item should work normally, just as they do in the usual game. Obviously, things like the lockpick you're not going to need, but yeah. So the first entity I'm going to be talking about is A60. A60 is somewhat similar to Rush, however it is much faster and, from what I am aware of, a little bit harder to hear. Now I don't know if this is just me, but I often struggle hearing A60, and a lot of the time it's too late. Because, like I said, it is a lot faster and you do not have much time to react. So you're going to have to be incredibly quick if you want to avoid this. The way you can avoid A60 is much like how you avoid Rush and Ambush, is you can head into a locker. Now, be warned that some of the lockers are broken, meaning that you cannot get into them. So you're going to have to be incredibly careful with which lockers you choose to go into. This entity is instant death, like I said, same as Rush. So, you really want to make sure that you escape this thing in time. This is what A60 looks like. It's just a red, distorted face, pretty much. Not quite as scary as Rush, but like I said, a lot quicker and harder to hear. So in that aspect, it's scarier, but its looks, yeah. Now, A60 is an entity that can only really spawn after door A60. However, something you must be aware of is that it is possible for A60 to spawn before door A60. This is the same with pretty much every other entity, I believe. I haven't experienced a 120 spawning before door A120, but I'm sure it's possible. So that is something that you must be aware of. You are not 100% safe before you reach door 60. Unlike Rush, A60 does not cause the lights to flicker, meaning that, like I said, you have to listen very closely, and it is a harder entity to hear. So you're going to want to make sure that you got your volume up pretty high, because this thing, it's pretty hard to hear from what I've experienced. The next entity I will be discussing is A90. A90 is quite different to the other entities that can be found within the game. A90, like I said before, is an entity that can spawn before door A90. And it's supposed to be a rare occurrence that happens, but so far in every single game I've played where I've gone to the rooms, I have gone A90 before door A90. So be incredibly careful. A90 looks something like this, and this one actually doesn't instantly kill you, but it does take a lot of health. And the way this entity works is, the minute you see it pop up on your screen, there should be a short clip here showing you what it looks like. You will need to stand still. If you do not stand still, you will die. And you have very little time to react. The minute this thing pops up on your screen, you need to stand dead still. You cannot move your camera, you cannot walk, you have to be completely still. Like I said, this thing can spawn before door A90 and at random times. There are not specific things that trigger this. So even if you've just gone AFK or something, or you're just standing in one room, it is still possible to get A90 even if you have not continued on. So make sure that if you are doing something in another room, you be as still as you possibly can in case this thing comes up. The next entity I'll be discussing is A120, and this one is somewhat similar to both Rush and Ambush. Now, this one's a bit of a difficult one, because it's a little bit harder to get away from. Not only does it spawn from the front instead of the back, it can also bounce back and come back to you. Now, the way that this entity works is it should only spawn after door A120, but, like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure it's possible to get it before then. I haven't gotten it before then yet, but it's probably possible. So the noise that it makes is a lot more audible than the ones that the other entities make. It makes like a thumping drum sound as it bounces from wall to wall. The way this one works is, like I said, it comes from the front and it follows the player, meaning that you need to get into a locker. You have a lot more time to react and get into a locker, which is good, but you will probably see it floating past your face. Yeah, if you get hit with this, it is instant death, as you probably assumed, and like I said, it can bounce back. Now, I am not too sure if there is any indicator that it will bounce back, other than the fact that it will not let you progress into the next room. So the way this entity works is, if it is still spawned, like it is still within the game and it hasn't gotten you yet, you will not be able to progress through to the next room. It will tell you that something is stopping you from opening the door, meaning that if this message pops up when you try to progress through, you need to run back into the other room and get into a locker, because otherwise A120 will probably kill you. This is what A120 looks like. Now, I haven't actually been jump scared by this yet, so I probably won't put a video of it jump scaring you on the screen. Another good thing about this entity is it is a lot slower than A60 and Rush and Ambush and all of them. It is a lot slower, you have a lot more time to react, and like I said, the audio is a lot clearer, so you will definitely know when it is coming to you. Another thing is, this entity can in fact do like a little fake out, where it will play the noise but no entity will come, much like how Rush can do that with the lights flickering. So that is another thing to be aware of, that if you hear the thumping, it might not always be A120, but still hop into that locker just in case. And then another entity that can spawn within the rooms is Glitch, and you probably already know how Glitch works. It works the exact same way it does within the normal game. If players are going ahead of you, it will just take you to them. Right, now on to some tips and tricks for beating the rooms. Now, obviously, the rooms has 1,000 doors, so it can take a really long time to beat it. From what I've seen, it can take 2 to 4 hours to beat this game. I mean, it took me and my friends like 2 hours just to get to door 146. Then again, I mean, we are quite new to it, but still, it can take a pretty long time to beat the rooms. And then obviously it can be harder with all of those new entities. So some tips and tricks for you is, when walking through the rooms, I will do a little demonstration if I can actually get it from the chair. When walking through the rooms, one thing you want to do is try not to turn your camera, because obviously if A90 spawns, you want to be able to stop as quickly as you possibly can. So try moving with WASD rather than moving your camera, because if A90 spawns, it will be a lot easier to stand still the minute you see it on your screen. A90 is a pretty easy entity to get used to, however, when you're just starting out and stuff, you are gonna wanna try and stick to moving like that, just so that you can react a lot quicker. Another tip is, every single time you see something like a locker near you, you are gonna wanna pause for a second and just try and listen out for any of the entities. So, for example, if you're about to go through a door and there is a locker like right next to the door, like let's say this is a door here and you have some lockers here, you're gonna want to pause by the door for a second and just listen out and then proceed through. That is the best way to avoid dying to things such as A60. Another tip is, go into the rooms with a normal, like ordinary flashlight, because as I said earlier, the shake light, it runs out of battery a lot quicker, meaning you're gonna want to have a better light source. Also, the shake light is also a lot dimmer than the normal flashlight, so try and go in with a normal flashlight, There are also, you can find batteries on the way, which you can pick up. There's also a lot of gold in the rooms too, so you can get a lot of resources from this. But yeah, there'll be a lot of batteries just lying around, so don't worry about your normal torch running out of power. Obviously, the plus side to the shake light is that you can shake it to charge it back up again, but still, going with an ordinary flashlight is probably one of the best tips that I can give. Another tip is if you are playing with multiple people, the best thing you can do is to split up. You want to have preferably one person per room, but you can also split up into groups of 2 or 3. It is better to have everybody split up and be in one room at a time, just because it means that if something like A60 does come, or A120, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get lockers, because there aren't always multiple lockers in every single room. Now, one thing that I should probably mention is A120 for the players in the front, it's gonna suck, but yeah, and A60, the players in the back, will have a disadvantage, but again, doing this method will allow more lockers for the players to get into, meaning that you can keep more people alive. So that is the best method that I can recommend if you are playing with multiple people. Obviously, you don't have to do that. These are all just tips and tricks, not just like, oh, you must do this in order to beat the rooms. But it is the best advice that I can give. For now, that is all of the advice and tips and tricks and all of the information that I have at the minute. If I've missed something, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do another video. If more information comes out on things such as tips and tricks and just information about the rooms in general, maybe I'll make another one of these videos. Maybe I'll start doing this for every single Doors update. Probably not, but we'll see. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and most importantly remember, MC loves ya. Bye!